Hello and welcome back to episode 4 of the PompeyCast. This week we're talking all things world football, including Leagues 1 and 2, what could be the possible outcomes of that, talking about Real Football Club in Wales and what's happened to them. We're also talking about the National League South, and also we're going to start off by talking about Wembley. But first of all, joined by Dad again this week for our weekly Thursday. How are you this week, Dad?
Not too bad, mate. You alright?
Yeah, I'm good. Obviously, the warm weather's come back, which is great news, isn't it? Bit of positivity around now.
That's it, mate. We had a little bike ride earlier on, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. He was very sweaty anyway.
Yeah, very unfit. But, yeah.
But we'll start off with Wembley. Pompey versus Salford is set to be the curtain raiser for the return of football. What are your opinions on this?
I think when and if it can go ahead, I think that'll be amazing. I don't think it's going to be postponed because obviously we've sold 52,000 tickets, so Wembley are going to want to have it on at some point. So it would be great if we could all go to Wembley and experience the same sort of atmosphere that we experienced last year when we played Sunderland. But we'll have to wait and see what happens in the future with regards to that. Obviously everything's up in the air, so no one knows what's really going to happen, but in terms of, I can't see like whoever, Wembley Stadium or Portsmouth and so wanting to refund so many tickets. I can't see that happening in the short term anyway, so hopefully, fingers crossed, we can still get that game played and have another great day out.
Yeah, obviously Wembley is one of the best venues. Well, it probably is the best ultimate place in the country where you want to watch your team play, isn't it? At the end of the day, and
yeah,
Salford fans they've experienced it last season, obviously, in the I think it was the playoff final or it was the cup final that they played down there.
They played the playoff final, didn't they?
Yeah, but did they play in the FA Vase final as well, or did they not?
I
can't remember. They played in the FA Trophy, wasn't it?
They played in the playoff final.
Yeah, someone played in that anyway, but they definitely played at Wembley last season anyway, and even that is still two Wembley back-to-back for them as well as us. It's massive, especially for them as a small club they are. Obviously, they've a lot of money involved, but they won't want that cancelled. And for a day out to the home of football in England to be the start of the new campaign, or even the end of this campaign, would be amazing, because you want to go somewhere like that to kickstart something, don't you? Especially for the players as well, the motivation they'll get if they win at Wembley. And then go into their first of the end, at the beginning of the end then. Because you'll have all that confidence built up. You'll beat Salford at Wembley, and then you'll go through and you'll be able to carry that on to teams like Ipswich away, Oxford away, Rotherham away.
Hopefully. This is all like speculation once again, but yeah, hopefully that will be, we can get the season up and running again, and we can start bouncing for promotion again and start trying to get up the leagues. But once again, like we said in weeks gone by, we have to wait and see in regards to what's going to happen with the leagues. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, and anyway, now moving on to the news that came out this week that could be a possibility for next season in League 1 and 2, which the Burton chairman suggested, and the Fleetwood chairman said he wouldn't mind it happening, is the regionalisation of Leagues 1 and 2 into North and South. They're dividing them, I'm guessing, at Birmingham. I don't know where they divide. I'm guessing you have to split halfway through the league.
You'd have to look at the demographics of the league. So, in terms of how many teams, like what you'd class as Midlands to North, and how many teams are in the South. So, in terms of like, if we would look at this season, you'd have to look at. You'd probably go. So we're in the South, obviously. Our nearest team to us is probably Wimbledon. Then you got. So if we can talk. If it was going to be made a North and South divide, we got Wimbledon,
Bristol Rovers, Oxford,
Wickham, Southend, Milton Keynes would probably be in that respect. Coventry would have to come down, because I think there's more teams in our division that are in the northern echelons than there is in the southern echelons of the.
Definitely.
So that would be probably a tricky one to do in like. Geographically wise, because you've got, I'm thinking of the northern teams. I'm thinking like you've got Rochdale, Bolton, Tranmere, Blackpool, Fleetwood,
Sunderland.
Sunderland.
You got all of them up there, really, haven't you?
Oh, that's
Rotherham,
it.
you've got all of them.
Rotherham,
Teams like that.
Lincoln,
I don't know if I already said
said
that,
Tranmere. Yeah. Shrewsbury would be classed as a northern team as well.
Well, would they though? That's the basis you're going on. It depends.
Yeah,
if
so
they have to split it in half.
Coventry would be classed as probably a northern team as well. So you're talking.
No, I think Coventry would be southern because there's less southern teams. in this
Yeah,
league.
so that would be a difficult one to break down into. But maybe that might be what will have to happen in terms of, because obviously if this season is starting again, it's obviously going to be like, we're talking probably July if it's going to start again.
Yeah.
The leagues below the Premier League usually start a week before, so we usually start like 6th, 7th, 8th of August. Pardon me, that's obviously not going to happen now, so we'll have to because obviously the next season there's no, in my view, there's no way you can play the League Cup, FA Cup, Checker Trade or whatever it's called now, the EFL Trophy, all those competitions, and then finish by like May, and then have the European Championships, etc. So it's all up in the air. It's all up for speculation, but there's no way, in my view, if this season is going to finish, whenever it does start and finish, there's no way we can. Next season can be like a normal season. Impossible.
Yeah, and obviously, about finishing this season, Peterborough's chairman obviously came out this week with a very radical, I think you could call it, statement saying that he's threatening financial action if the season is ended early on clubs that vote to end the season early. But the other thing that came out this week was Accrington's chairman saying that if it goes behind closed doors, or if it is finished, then could finish off that club completely, which obviously wouldn't be good for them at all. But
I think
if it's not finished, then you have to look at the financial either way.
I think a lot of smaller clubs obviously rely on the match day revenue. There's no doubt about that. So even playing behind closed doors is so that they're not going to make. There'll be no like revenue or income for them as such. So that's going to be hard as well. So that's something that's got to be looked in the future, whether clubs get compensated or there's some sort of planning where they get grants to help them out. We'll have to see, but obviously with a lot of clubs, especially at the lower levels, like League 2, League 1, Championship,
even National League,
as Blake says, there needs to be some sort of maybe package put in place to help these clubs, because there's a lot of clubs that rely heavily on just, and that's how they play their players, on just on the match day revenue alone. And if they haven't got the match day revenue, how do they play their players? How do they, manage it as a business? Because it's near on impossible because they're not getting any revenue.
Yeah, and obviously you look at teams that could go bust, but obviously the sad news broke this week that a club has gone bust. The first one in Britain, I think I'm pronouncing it right. I apologise if I'm not. Real FC in Wales. Obviously, I think they're 4 times champions of the Wales First Division. They've reached European competition before. They've battled it out with some of Wales's elite. They've battled it out with European clubs. Obviously, maybe not reaching the group stages, so they're not heard of very well. But they've been there and they've won the First Division. They've won the Welsh Cup, and it was released yesterday that they'd obviously gone under. And I was speaking to one of their fans yesterday, and he was just saying that he wants. I'll read it. He said he wanted me to thank everyone involved with the club behind the scenes, all the volunteers. He said about the managing director Adam Roche. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong again. And he said he'd like to say a big thank you to Adam from all the real fans for all the hard work and him and the board of directors have put in to try and save the club, which obviously hasn't worked out for them at the minute because they've obviously gone under. He wanted to say thanks to the stewards as well, which obviously they're volunteers at this club. He himself is a volunteer at the club. He said he's been going 15 years and has never missed a game.
Yeah, it's sad.
Which is incredible support from.
Yeah, it's sad times when small clubs obviously have to fold because of this, and obviously it's a very sad health situation that's going on, and it's a very sad time. Obviously, us as a world community, and we've got to try and get, or a football community, we've got to try and get through the best we can. obviously it's a sad day when football clubs fold because of things like this.
But I will leave a link. They've set up a GoFundMe page to try and save the football club. If any of you are willing to donate to help them, I don't know if you will be, but I'll leave a link to that in the description. Just help them out if you can, because I think they've already raised nearly, maybe even over £4,000 now of their 20,000 target to try and keep their club going.
Yeah, of course.
Just because I have to think of it from my perspective. What if Pompey were going down the drain?
Exactly.
I know that I'd be wanting everyone to help.
Yeah.
And
And
Real
like-
may not be one of the biggest clubs in the country or one of the biggest clubs in the UK,
Yeah.
but they're still a club.
Of course.
They have fans, they have volunteers, they have people that work for them that are now obviously out of work, out of something to do at the weekends.
Yeah, of course.
And obviously at the minute we're out of something to do at the weekends, but that's not temporary. That's not permanent. Sorry, that's temporary.
Hopefully.
For them, it's permanent now.
Yeah, of course.
So yeah, I hope everything works out at Real. But it was devastating to read that yesterday when you're looking at it, thinking you're just hoping that no club has to go under, and you're just feeling for any fans that do. Obviously, they've played at their crown all their life. 3,000 capacity stadium, so it's not huge, but Welsh football isn't huge as a whole. Obviously, you look back at like Connors Quay beating Aberdeen last season, and it was a shock.
Yeah,
They did it, but you have to look at it like the big Welsh teams go into the English leagues, but these teams are getting left behind in the lower divisions, and obviously they're not very big. Obviously, if you're looking at a club of volunteers, obviously they're going to struggle, and obviously it's now caught up with them, and they've struggled too much, and it's now caught up to them, which is such a shame to hear.
Definitely, mate.
But yeah, if you could spare, even if it's 5p,
5p.
they said every little helps at the end of the day.
Yeah, 5p.
Because if everyone donates 5p,
£5 more like, not 5p.
yeah, but if everyone donates 5p, you look at it, it's a bigger picture, isn't it?
Of course, yeah.
But if anything you have, go help them out.
Alright, yeah, big up to Real FC. Anyway, let's move on to now.
Yeah, and the National League and National League South, National League North cancelled. That was the big news as well that broke this week, wasn't it? Especially for another local side of ours, Havant and Waterlooville, who've been pushing for promotion back to the National League.
Yeah, of course, mate. Yeah, so when it said it's been, like, the season's, it's been cancelled?
Well, so it's not been declared null and void, it's just been... So
there's
no more games going to be played.
There's no more games going to be played, obviously, so... But it didn't actually say what, in terms of, like, what I'd call the old conference, which is... What's it called now? The National League? National League. So Barrow are 4 points clear at the top of that division. Never been in the Football League in their life, as far as I know, have they?
I don't think so, no.
I don't think so. Well, if they have, they haven't been
for long.
For years and years. So it'd be sad for them if they couldn't go up. In terms of like a local team round here, you're talking like Havant and Waterlooville, second in National League South.
After being relegated last year.
After being relegated from the National League.
It's a good fly.
Last year.
And unluckily
I
so
think
as well.
I think they were 4 points behind the team at the top, which I believe what's the team at the top?
Wildstone.
Wildstone at the top, yeah. I think so. They had a chance to push for like first place. Certainly were guaranteed to be in like the playoff mix. I think if my memory serves me correctly, in the National League South, I think it's second all the way down to 7th, go into the playoffs. I think the 7th and the 6th play a playoff.
No, it'd be 7th and 4th, and 5th and 6th.
No,
would play.
it doesn't work like that. I think the 6th and the 7th team play off in a game, and then the other. So Havant would automatically join at the semi-final stage. If that could still be possible for them to have a chance of promotion,
that would no, it's because it would still be 7th versus 4th, wouldn't it?
Well,
Because it'd still be like the normal playoffs, but with 2nd and 3rd joining.
Yeah, I'm not sure how
the two winners.
Yeah, we're both not sure how it works, but anyway, having worst second in their league,
Definitely got a chance of going up for sure.
had a chance of going up. Possibly could have caught Wheelstone. You never know. And certainly could have got in the playoffs and pushed for promotion. So it would be. We'll have to see what happens there. Obviously, that's a discussion for a future day. But it'd be nice to see a local club move up the divisions. Obviously, me and Blake have watched them play a few times.
But the last game we went to watch.
The last game we went to watch.
Football was called off. Obviously, you can check that video out on the channel. That was the last video I recorded.
We obviously couldn't watch Pompey because it was all called off. So
Accrington at home was called off.
The last game me and Blake watched was
Dorking.
we went to watch Havant Waterloo with Dorking. So
with a last-minute winner as well.
yeah, so fingers crossed for them. And for other teams in National League South, National League North, and the proper National League teams like Barrow, 4 points clear. obviously that'd be a massive thing for a team like Barrow to get into the Football
The
League.
financial side of it as well.
In fact, yeah, so fingers crossed. But obviously we're filling the gaps and trying to speculate a lot of the time because no one really knows what's going on. So hopefully at some point they can have some sort of like playoff, and then
It'd definitely be better if they just finished it where it is and play the playoffs rather than just
so,
nulling and voiding the whole idea of it.
But then again, that could be the case for like our team, Portsmouth. You just don't know if they stop it from where it is, and then. But there's lots of scenarios you're talking. But this is all like there's no point. It's not really had to have a discussion because you don't know what's going to happen. So you could like have seasons null and voided. You could have seasons that are you stop where it was, and that's what happens. So the teams that 1 and 2 go up. Teams in the playoff positions play off the playoffs.
Yeah, but
you could have points per games, but I think all that would just that would just create things like legal actions and things like that.
Like
Clubs,
Peterborough's chairman obviously mentioned.
and then teams that are fighting relegation. I mean, can you really relegate teams that have got
maybe just hit some form.
9-10 games to go when they could get out of it? So I don't think that's fair either. So,
But then you've also got to look at it in the case of teams wanting to join the EFL. So you look at Bury got kicked out last season. Obviously they're I don't know what you call the club that's come out from the ashes and risen. Bury AFC obviously is their name. They've been accepted to join the 10th division. So then what's going to happen? Because they can't.
Yeah, I mean,
surely that Barrow should be able to go up to replace Bury. If you're thinking of it strategically, you might as well do that now.
Yeah, you just don't know. I mean, we'll have to just wait and see it.
Yeah, it's all uncertainty.
And obviously, hopefully, it'll all work out as best it can, and we'll go from there.
Yeah. In other news, in the Championship this time, Charlton's takeover, which initially was seen as something that would save the club. Obviously, they hated their owner. He'd finally sold up to another consortium or another owner. Has been taken under investigation. So the takeover has been taken under investigation by the FA and EFL, which obviously isn't very good news for the club.
No, I mean that's another club, and we've been there a few times.
Yeah.
Good set of fans, decent enough stadium. I don't think they're as well supported as what they once were. Certainly, when me and Blake have been there, I think we've been there twice in the last 3 years. 3 times. I don't think they've been as well supported as they have in the past. Certainly, when they slipped down the divisions, I think.
I do remember though when they came down. I think it was our final home game of
we
the
played it.
first
good
time we
away
came
fans.
up,
Good
and
away fans.
Nicky Jose scored late on, I think.
Yeah.
And the noise that Milton end created was the loudest I think I've ever heard the Milton end.
But in terms of we've been there 3 times, as Blake says, and I don't think. Obviously, there is some sort of problem there because I think we've been there. And the average gate's about 11, 12, 13 tops, and we take like 4. I think every time we've been there, we're taking like 3.5, 4, 5,000 fans, and the gates are only like 12, 13, 14 at a push, and the stadium holds like 20. If I'm right, 26,500.
It's 27, isn't it?
Obviously, it's a Premier League club once upon a time.
Well, Patrick Berger scored that goal against them.
I think they got a good manager, Lee Bowyer. I think he was a good, great player, and I think he's a decent manager. But obviously, when your hands are tied as a manager, you can't buy players. You're restricted on wage budgets. You don't know where you're coming or going. It's tough. And obviously, a team to come up from League One like they had last year, beat Sunderland in the playoff final, got into the Championship, started off really well to be fair to them, but obviously have sunk. And obviously things behind the scenes, whatever it is going on, obviously doesn't help that. So obviously hope they do all right and it's all sorted
out
out.
of the situation they're in.
Yeah, of course.
But obviously, as you're talking about, obviously teams in the relegation zone, all 3 teams that went up, they're back in the relegation zone again now, aren't they? Obviously that'll be telling us what happens with the season.
You got to look at the tip. You got to look at, like we said before, we've had conversations on this in the past. I mean, if you're going to go League One to the Championship, it's massive. It's a huge gap in my view. So unless you can invest money, invest in infrastructure, coaches, things like that, but especially on the player budget, wages and things like that, to attract the player. Obviously, it depends. Every team's different. I'm going to be biased. I think Portsmouth are, in my opinion, people might disagree. Everyone's got an opinion. Portsmouth are a far bigger club than the teams that went up last year. Charlton, Barnsley, and Luton. So far bigger fan base, far bigger club. Obviously, it's a bit different here because we haven't got really any competition. There's no other teams nearby. So teams
there's them lot from down the road. They have poor support anyway.
We won't mention
everyone knows
them.
that.
But obviously, everyone in Portsmouth tends to support Portsmouth, whereas teams like Charlton are in London. There's a lot of clubs around in London.
Millwall's just down the road.
But there's a lot of teams in London, so you get other supporters.
Palace.
Barnsley's in Yorkshire.
Rotherham.
So you've got Sheffield United, Sheffield Wednesday, Leeds. Even like teams like Bradford, teams like that. And you're not that far away from like Manchester. Obviously, Luton. Massively punching above their weight.
Yeah, but they're in the National League.
In my view, not really a football backwater is what
it's famous for the airport. In my opinion, anyway, it's famous for the airport.
It's all good and well saying we're. So I mean, in my view, we have got the basis. If it was to progress a lot further, but that's all to do with investment, infrastructure, as we mentioned before in previous vlogs.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's about it for today. Obviously, the biggest news was Real going bust. Could that have an impact on other clubs going bust? I don't know. I think it definitely could be a catalyst for change, especially because they've now seen a club go bust. The EFL, the FA
I think it's not just,
may now step in to actually help and act on this.
Anyone's going to watch this probably never heard of a team called Real. Totally, because I've never heard of them until Blake told me. But it's not just teams like Real. It's teams like you've got teams in like Portsmouth League, Accrington Stanley, teams like that. Wimbledon, even they're building a new ground now. But even teams like that, where these teams rely on Southend, another one. They rely on like match day revenue.
Well, Southend are already in
to get to even pay the players. Let alone run it as a business model, just to play the players.
Yeah.
So you haven't got that revenue coming through the turnstiles or through the kiosks, or like
the shirt sales,
the food sales. Gillingham's another one, a fine example. These are come look for you, mate.
No, that's seriously, that's an army jet. That is. That's something you don't see often in lockdown. Well.
Anyway, sorry, Blake's looking at planes up.
No, but normally they don't come that low. That's a massive one. That is.
Obviously, we're getting a bit.
Sorry about that.
We're on the 5th week of lockdown. Luckily enough, I can still see my boy 2 days a week.
Cycle up here and back.
Fair play to any other parents who can't see their kids and stuff, and feel for you. And some people, I hope everyone's like trying to keep safe, keep well.
Yeah, I'm going to try and get as much content out as I can possibly do for you guys. I've set up in my room, my house. I've set up a new setup that I set up earlier today before I came to my dad's.
Yeah.
That's ready to do League One rankings for fans, stadiums.
Yeah, we might
teams, things like that.
I think next week you might talk about things like the Bundesliga looks like it might start up again mid-May.
Yeah, we'll have a look at that.
Things like the Dutch Eredivisie looks like it might be just
anything can happen over the course of the next week that we could be talking about. We simply don't know.
We just don't know. So it's all speculation. So.
But once again, we say this every week. It's getting repetitive, but our hearts go out to anyone that's been affected.
Yeah, definitely.
Anyone that's working with fair play to you.
Because I'm not, and I'm bored.
Well, yeah, but you've got nothing else to do, have you?
Any key workers, anyone working out, anyone help NHS workers, any supermarket workers,
any
volunteering workers, anyone doing stuff.
Charity
fair
workers,
play to you.
Just anyone really that's still out working.
Yeah,
and
amazing.
Just stay home is the message from the government. If you're not working, do that.
Stay home.
Watch the videos. There's plenty of them on there. I'll get hopefully one out a day. Should be 10 minutes long. I don't know if there'll be one up tomorrow unless he's willing to do another one. But I don't know.
We might do another one tomorrow.
Saturday there should be one up. It could be Fortnite. It could be FIFA.
We might video.
Ranking.
We might video our bike ride tomorrow. We're going to ride to my mum and dad's house tomorrow.
I don't think he realises that's impossible because I don't have the stuff to do
it's
that.
Impossible. That would be funny.
I would do it.
It would be funny for you guys, me and him having a heart attack.
Him stopping every 5 minutes, but you know.
Yeah, so.
But yeah, I don't have the facilities to do that at the minute. I've ordered a new microphone for the channel to improve the audio after what happened last week.
Yeah.
Obviously, we'd already recorded one of them, and then we recorded again. The audio was bad, and by that point, we didn't know until we'd uploaded it.
Yeah.
Because on the phone it was fine, wasn't it? But we're looking at things to improve the channel weekly. Every time we're looking.
Because we're not professionals.
No, we're looking to improve it every week. But I'll be sure to get some gaming content out. Just once again, as I said last week, just let me know in the comments if there's anything at all you want to see. I will get back to you in the comments. I'll have a look at what I can do. I don't care what it is. If it's Fortnite, FIFA, GTA, Warzone, that's gaming I can do. There's rankings I can do. I can talk about anything at home. I can do anything to an extent. But if you let me know in the comments, I'll read them all because I don't get many. So yeah, just let me know. Let me know what you thought of this video. Let me know what you want to see because I'll obviously read them. Yeah. And how many likes can we hit on this video then, Dad?
We'll go for 30, I reckon.
That's a big jump.
No, 30. Come on. I'll spread the word all round social media. 30 likes on this video, please.
250 subscribers by the end of the month. Can we do it?
We can do it.
We're currently the 23rd, and we're on 112, I think. So 212.
Yeah.
Can we get the extra?
Yeah, we get another 18 subscribers, 30 likes for this video.
18? That doesn't add up to 250.
No, it doesn't. No, I can't even. Whatever. I know what you mean.
Oh my lord.
No, my lord. Blake's dad is special. Anyway,
38 extra. That's what we need.
38 extra. I can't add up. Didn't go to school. Never mind.
Yeah, ignore him. But yeah, we'll try and get another video out for you guys tomorrow. Just let me know what you thought. We don't know if this is a longer video. We're hoping we're keeping you entertained as good as we can. But yeah, and I'll see you in the next one, which hopefully will be up tomorrow.
Yeah.
And out the blues.
Out the blues.